Welcome back to the manga bedroom, and today we're gonna do something I've never done before. I wanted to do for a long time, my top 10 manga of all time. Let's go. Number 10, Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul is really one of the earlier manga that I read, and one that I also really liked. Tokyo Ghoul is, I think, still really unique with the concept of a normal guy all of a sudden only being able to eat human flesh and the dilemma that comes with that. So he has not a lot of choices. He has only one choice: eat human flesh or die. Those are two choices. But Tokyo Ghoul is a good seinen drama. A lot of stuff happens in there. Really sad, and then a bit of a sad feeling. It's so good in that regard. Tokyo Ghoul also always has really cool and nice covers. One of the most beautiful covers in my collection belong to Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul Re, and a lot of people say that's bad. I again liked it. It's just a franchise that I really enjoy. So definitely, if you haven't read Tokyo Ghoul ever, this is one that I would highly recommend to read. So whilst making the thumbnail for this video, I actually remembered that I forgot to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. So that's why I'm interrupting you. I'll get out of here. And there is my number 9, One Punch Man. By the way, in this top 10, you're gonna see a lot of shonens. This channel is a shonen safe space. And One Punch Man is maybe the manga that I read the quickest of all the manga in my collection. One Punch Man is about this guy that is incredibly strong. It's kind of a gag shonen type manga. And it's about this bald guy, Saitama, right here, who gets superpowers that are just... He's able to beat everyone in one punch. And it's as well a curse as a blessing, because he wants to fight someone who is stronger than him, but he's unable to because he's too strong himself. It makes him kind of depressed. The artwork is awesome. This is not done by the author. That isn't a manga that takes itself really serious, but it also isn't a manga that doesn't take itself serious ever. It can have a really epic moments, actually. That happens quite often. Also, there is basically a ranking system with heroes. These are, by the way, one of my favorite covers in the collection. We got Metal Bed right here, as he is called, and Garu, the villain of the second season. And with the introduction of like high-rated heroes that still can be beat, and villains that still can be beat, these two clashed. A fight between equally matched guys, and then it becomes really awesome. And Saitama is just, he jumps in with a guaranteed win. This is also a really powerful hero, but look at his design. He's called Watchdog Man, and he is really strong. That makes it even better. Can't imagine anyone not enjoying reading this. I really can't. And then on the last volume we got my baldy himself, Saitama. Then my number 8 is Death Note, a 12 volume series, which you could consider pretty short, but dialogue wise this could also be 20 series, because there is always, I'll show you, this is always a whole lot of text. Most of the time actually. So this does read pretty slowly, keep that in mind as well. But Death Note, I hope everyone is familiar with this. Why is this so low, manga bedroom? Pretty simple actually. This is so low on the list because I prefer the anime. I watched the anime first. I think it's basically a toss-up which one you experience first, manga or anime, is you prefer. But I prefer the anime for this one. Death Note is about a guy that finds a note in which whichever name he writes in the note, that person dies. This is maybe one of the most famous anime and manga among like Dragon Ball, Naruto. Hype behind this is a bit gone, obviously, because this is from a couple of years ago. If you haven't experienced it yet, go do so as soon as possible via the anime or the manga, and Death Note is my number 9 for today. Black Clover is the most hype manga that you can buy right now. I am really sure that is true. There are 24 volumes out as of now, and this is hype all the way through. This isn't really deep. This story isn't really good or anything. That's not the selling point of this one. This is just hype after battle. Black Clover is basically about this magic world in which everyone can use magic, except for one guy, our main character, right here, Asta. Basically he has something called anti-magic, and he can cancel out everyone who does have magic. If you're looking for a new shonen, I would highly recommend this one. Simply because it is quite the awesome read, quite the hype read. Now moving on to my number 6 on the list, Berserk, in these beautiful hardcover editions. Berserk is one of the best seinens, obviously. Golden Age is, I think, the best arc of seinen that I've ever read. I still think it is more than worth reading after Golden Age, but I do think that the quality does decrease after Golden Age. So I'm still gonna stick with this. I'm gonna buy every hardcover that comes out because I hope I can see a conclusion to this story. Berserk is about this guy Guts, and Guts is basically the biggest hype machine as well ever. He just cuts through anyone. He's really strong. He is really, I would say, close. He doesn't share his emotions at all. Here we got him, the guy. But what he does have, that changes, because at one point he does get a bit, he joins a gang with other fighters, and this goes into really deep story like Golden Age, the conclusion of Golden Age. It's really, I can't even explain it. This is a manga that you can't even explain. This is something you should experience all by yourself. Just get, basically the singles are pretty cheap right now secondhand, because everyone is trying to pick up these deluxe editions if you're a collector. So those nice small books, which are pretty light and pretty nice to read as well, you could get them for quite the cheap price. And you can read Berserk, which is one of the best seinens, and you can experience Golden Age by yourself. And then you can have your own opinion about if it dips in quality or not. Then we're moving on to my number 5, to a manga that a lot of people will tell you is the best shonen in existence. At least a lot of people who watch the anime. The anime is really popular and really high rated on mall and everything. We're talking about Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist is a manga about Edward, Elric and Alphonse Elric, who try to resurrect their mother, who has passed away, but they get punished heavily for trying to resurrect her. They lose parts of their body. He loses his entire body, as you can see, and he has a metal, like an arm made of metallic material. And they go on this journey to try to get their original bodies back, and actually it's mostly Edward who feels really guilty for Alphonse, so they're trying to go after their original bodies. And of course there are some villains. This story develops super nicely. It flows extremely nicely. It goes into really deep stuff as well, and it just gets so good. It's just a really nice shonen. As I was saying, there's only one shonen that eclipses this shonen as best shonen ever for me. That's quite of personal reasons, I'm gonna be honest, but this is, objectively speaking, maybe the best shonen there is. So Fullmetal Alchemist is something, it does have 27 volumes, but as you can see there in the corner, it really has a really nice box set, which you can pick up for about $100, a bit more actually, but if you pick that up you get all 27 volumes in a really nice box and a really great story. But stories that are about this long, stories that are about 27 volumes long or 30 volumes, I really like, because you really go on a journey, and if you binge it, it's super awesome, super nice, running towards that conclusion. Fullmetal Alchemist is my number 5. And there it is, my number 4, and I'm afraid that this manga is gonna bring in the not so nice comments today. We've got Dragon Ball Z Visbig 1 through 9, which is actually volume 26. Dragon Ball Z has 26 volumes, and it is the best shonen I have in my collection. I call this the first shonen. This really inspired a lot of stories today. Like, look at every shonen there is now. It does always take inspiration from Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is also, culturally speaking, in rap music, in all kinds of other media, this always shows up, and for good reason. This shows up because it is really good. Until Cell, with Cell in it, it is just really good. The story is also good. Toriyama wasn't improvising right here. This always has really good story. Until volume 6, and then in the Blue Arc he was goofing off a bit. I know, I'm not saying this is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I am only saying that this is my favorite shonen. This is, for me, the best shonen ever, the most legendary shonen ever. And Dragon Ball Z, this is basically my highest recommended pick if you've never read manga. If you're about, let's say, 13 years old or 14 years old and you've never read manga, then you will enjoy it. It's really good for that age category. That's the age category when I experienced it. So Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, highly recommended. Yes, my number 3, from here on out, it is Seinen Till the End. And we're starting off with Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga is my number 3 manga, and this is about Vikings. The artwork is really stunning. That's also something that is... Manga is artwork and story, so they're both on equal terms for me. Maybe story is a bit more important if I'm honest, but the artwork is really important. And it starts off so good. It starts off really cool, the premise is really nice. And then about volume 2, 3 and 4, it gets god tier. It gets simply godly. It's so freaking good. And then moving on, like this, is maybe not the best volume, and then after that it picks up again. But if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is something you should definitely read. Maybe not as your first shonen, or you could do that as your first seinen, sorry. You could pick this up. But come on guys, if you've never read Vinn Saga or checked it out, this also has an anime for you guys who don't read manga maybe, or don't have the money to spend on Vinn Saga, because these are 20 bucks a pop. You can get them cheaper if you're really hunting for them. I don't judge you if you buy secondhand manga. If there wasn't a secondhand market, who would buy new? Would you buy thousands of new volumes for 10 bucks a pop if you know you could never sell them, they could never increase in price? They're just sitting on your shelf and you can just throw them away as well, because you can never resell them because no one's gonna buy them. So the second-hand market keeps the first-hand market alive, in my opinion. So if you want to support that second-hand market by buying manga cheaper, frankly I don't care. I think that also supports the industry in a really indirect way. Thorfinn is just so freaking cool, man. I hope I can show something of that. Yeah, you do sporadically in the beginning have some color pages. It's super cool. It's super cool. It's also, he tries to keep, Makoto Yukimura tries to keep it a bit accurate with original Viking history, so that's also always nice to see. Mangaka cares a bit about the history of everything, and Vinland Saga is my well-deserved number 3. Then we're off to my number 2, to probably the most popular entertainment franchise out of Japan right now, period. Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, as you can see, why does this start exactly where season 3 ends, the anime? Because I first watched the anime. The anime was so freaking good. The manga is, in my opinion, even better. Some of these volumes are just so good, and I was always scared that with the music, especially Attack on Titan has great music, if the music isn't as good, you don't get captivated as much. But guys, you get captivated with this one, alright. The artwork has really improved lately, and that's really something that's really nice. And Attack on Titan is just something that is so freaking good. This is so good. Attack on Titan is so popular for a reason. This is not overhyped in the slightest. This deserves all the hype. It's one of the best franchises out there, and it might as well go down as my number 1 when the story ends, but for now it is my number 2, Attack on Titan. I hope we all know what it's about. Basically, you start out with a normal story, you get trapped, and now we're into one of the best stories and dramas ever in manga and anime. Attack on Titan, give it a shot if you haven't. This is God tier. And now we finally reached the end of this video. We reached my favorite manga of all time, Monster by Naoki Urasawa. Monster by Naoki Urasawa doesn't even fit the label manga, in my opinion. This is just so well written. This is so well written, and I can't understand how you can be this talented as Naoki Urasawa, because basically you could become a novelist as well. You could write novels and everyone would like them as well, because he's that good at storytelling and a mystery, at a detective type manga. But then at the same time, his artwork is so good as well. So how can you be that multi-talented as Naoki Urasawa? This is one of the most captivating mystery mangas ever. It starts out instantly captivating you, and towards the end it just runs towards a climax. Some people think the middle part is a bit dragged out. I don't think that as well. It flows really nicely all the way through. Maybe if you're watching the anime, you think it's a bit slow paced. That could be the case, and I wouldn't even disagree with you, but the manga can never get boring. It is one of the best mysteries. This is the best mystery manga out there. My favorite manga of all time. And if you haven't read this, go do so as soon as possible, because Monster is the best manga I've ever read. And with that, I'd like to end the video. I really like making this video, actually. And your favorite manga, leave it down in the comments. If you have an idea for our next video, leave it in the comments as well. Drop a like if you somewhat respect my opinion. I don't ask you to agree with my opinion, I ask you to respect it and not hate me for my opinion. And guys, I really like making this one, for real. And I'll see you in the next one. And enjoy reading manga. Bye.